This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Hello and welcome to News Tonight on NDTV Hindu. I'm Ramanathan. The top stories tonight. Talks between workers and administrators at Neyveli Lignite Corporation failed. Protests to continue. Attendance shortage leads to student suicide. College students protest and demand action against the professor. Sri Lankan refugees will now join professional colleges in the state, and NDTV Hindu impact. Residents of Kilkatalai face the brunt of terrible roads. Roads remain inundated even after 2 years of them digging up. And a matter of few paise might cost vendors heavy service providers to pay compensation if they fail to tender exact change. And Sharad Pawar takes as the reins of the ICCI amidst the BCCI contradicting over the Howard controversy. And it's time to change the wardrobe. The International Chennai Fashion Week is here. Well, the talks between the NLC management and the striking employees has failed. The indefinite strike by the 16,000 workers of Neyveli Lignite Corporation will continue, and sources are telling us that it will go on for at least the next 2 days, and the strike will now intensify. The NLC management had earlier told the state government that there is a possibility of power disruption if the strike continues, and that possibility of power cuts is now more. The workers have been on strike since yesterday, demanding a wage revision and payment of arrears. The recognized trade unions affiliated to DMK and the PMK have had started the indefinite strike. Well, for more on that, we're now joined by our senior correspondent P. Mohammed, who has been keeping a very close tab on this story. P, one round of talks had failed this morning. Now the second meeting has also been inconclusive. What are your sources from the trade unions and the NLC telling you? What can we expect at this point in time?
Yes, Ram, the trade unions were unhappy with the way the management treated the whole issue. And they claimed that the management agreed to pay the arrears from 2007, but now it is insisting again and again during the 2 rounds of talks that they will give the arrears only from the year 2009, which is a huge setback for the talks, and because the management is not diluting its stand, the talks were inconclusive on both the occasions, and the trade unions have come out of the talks and announced that the strike would continue. And the NLC management says they will continue the talks tomorrow in Chennai. They have called the representatives of the trade unions to their corporate office in Chennai. Tomorrow afternoon, the management is planning to have talks with the trade union representatives. But it is highly unlikely that is going to be very fruitful if the sources in the trade unions are to be believed, because the management is trying to employ some methods. Till tomorrow afternoon, they have some workforce which can keep the show going for them in terms of power production. After that, things will be very difficult. If the tomorrow afternoon talks also fail, the situation is very grim in terms of power generation, which is around 2,500 megawatt. Ram?
Right, Peter. Speaking of power generation and the problems the NLC is going to face because of the strike. Now, NLC is a major source of power in Tamil Nadu, not only in Tamil Nadu, even in Pondicherry. What are the chances of power being disrupted due to this strike, and which are the areas which we can expect the power to go down?
Yes, Ram. If the talks tomorrow in Chennai fail, then immediately the power generation will be shut down at least one of the 3 major plants there. So that means the effects will be felt immediately in neighboring Puducherry and some of the northern districts. particularly 30% of Tamil Nadu's area is benefited by NLC's power generation. So those parts will be affected. If the talks fail tomorrow, that is Friday, the next 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, there won't be any other development. The strike would continue, and that will hit power generation in a big way, and that is bad news for the consumers all across the state, Ram.
Right, Pete, that is indeed bad news. Let's hope that the situation does not arise where the NLC will have to stop power production due to that strike. Let's see what happens tomorrow at that meeting at the corporate office. We will, of course, be keeping a very close eye. Thanks a lot for joining us. Moving on to other top story tonight, another shocking case of a student suicide in the city. A final year engineering student killed himself in the wee hours today, allegedly because he was harassed by his professors. The boy from Pallava Engineering College in Arakonam is an orphan and was staying with his sister and uncle in the city. His friends and relatives have now registered a case against one of the teachers at the college, who is allegedly supposed to have harassed this student due to his attendance shortage. And his body has now been moved to the government general hospital. A friend of the victim, Chandrasekhar Ganesh, joined us and narrated the incident.
This boy, Chandrasekhar, fourth year student of computer science, he had a ego problem with his professor, actually, by name Mr. Natarajan. And it was going on for a long time, for almost 3 to 4 months, and it took a very ugly shape last week, where the boy's sister had gone to the college and pleaded with the management that to stop this. There were situations where he was asked to sit in the department, and the classes would go on. He would be marked absent, and even if he attended classes, he would be marked absent. And this led to a situation where the professor would say that, quoting, that this treatment would be meted out if anybody tries to act smart or something like that. Taken down by this boy was actually very down, and the family members were talking to him even yesterday. And it was very late that we left this fellow yesterday, and we all returned back. And by 2:15 or something in the night, I get a phone call that he has committed suicide, with a suicide note to his uncle, saying that, "Uncle, you have struggled a lot to get me educated, but I'm unable to fulfill your dreams. But there are lots of people struggling like me. So I hope God will restore peace for them at least." But he's no more now, and nothing can be done.
Right, truly a sad story there. Now, Mr. Shankar, a counsellor with Sneha, her suicide helpline center, joined us earlier and told us that professors and teachers also need a lot of training in dealing with students.
Maybe the students have to learn a lot of coping skills to overcome these pressures. When they are able to learn a lot of new things, they should also be told how to cope with life situations when they have high stressful moments in their life. Maybe the teachers can get themselves identified with signs of suicide or signs of depression, where the teachers can pick up people who are having high stressful moments and can talk to these students and find some time to talk to these students and find out if they have stressful moments and make them talk about their innermost feelings to them.
Moving on, the political slugfest in this state continues after the state ordered an inquiry into the renovation of a tea factory. The AIADMK General Secretary Jayalalitha today dropped a bombshell by calling Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi a war criminal, as he had given out false information on the Sri Lankan war. On April 27, 2009, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister had said that a war had not ended in Sri Lanka. The war, in fact, had ended in Sri Lanka, which was allegedly untrue. This had exposed the Tamil civilians to aerial attacks by the Sri Lankan Air Force. She welcomed the United Nations move of appointing a 3-member panel to inquire into the war crimes during the last phase of ethnic war. Only recently, UN Chief Ban Ki-moon had given hope that all was not lost for the Tamil race and people. In fact, Jayalalitha condemned the Sri Lankan regime for denying visa to the UN probe team, and also said that if the UN panel visits Sri Lanka, a delegation of AIADMK MPs would meet the team and hand over a petition to indict Karunanidhi as he is party to the war crimes committed on Sri Lankan Tamils. Well, have you been having this desire to cycle on a hilly, rocky terrain? You don't need to take the pain to plan a trip to Himalayas if that's true. Just a ride to Kilkatalai, a residential colony on the outskirts of Chennai, to find the shocking state of roads. Lokpriya took this roller coaster ride to bring us this report.
This is the condition of roads in Chennai suburbs' fastest growing area, Kirkattalai. A trip down this road is equal to a roller coaster ride. Residents of this area say these roads were dug up for laying pipes for underground sewer system 2 years ago and are still not reinstated.
Monsoon is going to set in now. In the monsoon, they will not be able to do anything. So, on war footing, something has to be done to repair these 2-3 roads,
Somebody is serious, we can't call an ambulance. The ambulance driver, they will say, come to the main road, we can't come inside. Maybe half the way the patient might die. And the Madri road is there.
The roads are the lifeline for 300 families that reside in these streets. Erratic functioning of street lights is an added concern. It's a harrowing experience for the elderly too.
எனக்கு வயசு 66 ஆகுது. ஸ்கூல் வேன் உள்ள வர மாட்டேங்குது. ரோடு நல்லா இல்லாதனால ஸ்கூல் வேன் உள்ள வர மாட்டேங்குது. 2 பேர பசங்களையும் நான் மெயின் ரோடு வரைக்கும் கொண்டு போய் விட்டு அழைச்சிட்டு வரதுக்குள்ள எனக்கு முடிய மாட்டேங்குது. மூச்சு வாங்குது. ரொம்ப முடியல.
Ironically, the area councillor says that things are on the right track.
மீதி நந்தி நகர் அந்த பக்கம்லாம் இருக்கிற பகுதியெல்லாம் பாறைக்காரங்கள குண்டும் குழியுமா இருக்குது. அதெல்லாம் மெட்டல் ரோடு போகிறதுக்கு சேர்மன்ட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கோம். அது கண்டிப்பாக நடக்கும். எப்படியும் ஒரு மாதம் ஆகும்.
For residents of Rajendra Nagar, crossing these roads is a Herculean task. While the officials assure the work is on progress, ground zero reality presents a different picture. In Chennai, Lokpriya, NDTV Hindu.
But time to take a short break. On the other side, they're green all over, and we're talking about more than just money. More on the other side.